All right, challenge number one comes from CISO and CSO mainly. They feel like they have an inefficient security intelligence with no real-time impact, which makes it almost impossible to keep ahead of never-seen-before attack. Basically, they're asking, can we even keep up with new threats?
I think it's getting harder and harder. And I think I split security companies into detection companies. Yeah, so we detect it, but really you've got to do something about it. So you need that protection. And so Fortinet always makes sure that we have the detection component as well as the protection piece inside there, and that we have it not just at the network level, but at the endpoint and the mail and everywhere else. I think a good example in FortiOS 7.2 is we've now taken what used to be a detection sandbox capability, and now we put prevention in there. So if we find something, we can stop it getting through the system. You know, previously you would have to something got detected, you would have to run around trying to find where it is, where did it go. Now we stop it dead in its tracks.
So what you're saying is historically you would let the file go into the environment, especially in networking. In endpoint, we already started to hold it long time ago. So we hold it until we get the verdict. Right. Now we're bringing it into the network so people don't have to play hide and seek anymore with a malware after it's detected.
Right, because endpoint had that already. You know, email was the same. You wouldn't let a piece of spam or phishing email go through. Network was a bit different because they looked at performance being an issue. So we've solved that problem with 7.2. We can detect it and also stop it.
So a lot of our customers keep asking about ransomware. It's top of mind for them. And the ransomware part is usually the second step of the attack. It starts with exploitation of vulnerability. What you can tell us about the addition that we added for device security and IPS?
Well, for device security, it's important to know what device it is and give it some context. For IPS, more and more we're making sure that we can relate that signature or that capability to the device itself to make sure we can stop it.
And we also have the virtual patching today as well.
Well, yeah, a lot of people use IPS for the virtual patching, and that's very important. The question is making sure you got that virtual patching across all the vulnerabilities, across all the devices. I think last year there was 20,000 CVEs or something like that, so it's becoming a worse and worse problem.
And I want to talk about the unknown, because we were talking about 0 days in vulnerabilities and unknown pieces of malware. And I think what a lot of people take for granted is the assumption that all the vendors know the same. And what is unknown is basically what we don't know. And I want to talk about how much we know and what customers need to ask their vendors about detection capabilities and orchestration of information to make sure that the unknown is limited and it's only what is truly new and hitting them.
Yeah. I sometimes speak to customers and they talk about different cybersecurity vendors, and sometimes a lot of those vendors OEM security from different places, and so you end up with lots of different feeds coming in. I think it's very important, and Fortinet from the very beginning has always owned its security. So we have our own AV team, we have our IPS team, app team, and that's very important because once you get all the information in, then you can start correlating across it. So using ML per threat vector, then using AI across all the threat vectors, allow us to start to understand what's known and unknown across a wider scope.
So we see more, going back to the fabric.
See more, and we have better information, again, across all the different threat vectors, whether it be email, files, URLs, et cetera, et cetera.